Yeah, I think Tim Scott is a great pick, and I think it's important to appreciate that Mitch McConnell chose Tim Scott to speak tonight. And what I raise that is Mitch McConnell understands the politics that Republicans are facing, the problems we've had losing the last two elections, and where that's taken place. And that is in the suburbs, that is with educated voters. Right now, the Republican Party has been dominated by what I would call a culture war. It's a very post-policy GOP, and it's costing us. I think what you're going to see tonight is a return to a more thoughtful Republican Party from Tim Scott. Tim Scott has a great personal story, but he's a thoughtful policymaker. I think he's going to try to draw a contrast on issues, which we don't hear very much anymore. I think the Republican Party has really ceded the ground to the president. One issue in particular, I think that he's going to be focusing on kids, parents. This pandemic has, I think, opened a lot of people's eyes to challenges that people face. I think President Biden is trying to take advantage of that, talking about free childcare and paid leave. I think what Tim Scott's going to talk about is the way that kids are still out of school and the way that unions and Democrats who've gone along with them have kept schools closed. And I think there's a lot of angst there that they can take advantage of and try to make back some of the losses in the suburbs.
Yes, some wedge issues. Of course, they said all along they were following the science on that, but that's been part of the debate throughout. Then there's the word bipartisanship, which last I checked hasn't been removed from the dictionary, but it doesn't exist in Washington. Republicans blame the current president for that. Democrats say it's the Republicans who are the obstructionists. Is there any hope to get past all that noise and toward working for the people here? Could there be a beginning?
Yeah, I don't want to say bipartisanship is dead, but it's really close. There's a couple places where you could see some things get done. Obviously, police reform you talked about. There is an effort to pass somewhat comprehensive legislation to address the threat from China, militarily and in other ways that I think potentially you could see some work together on. But beyond that, it's pretty limited. And I think that is why Joe Biden is taking the approach that he is, packaging all of these big things together. He realizes that a lot of these things that he probably thinks should have 60 votes in the Senate, the amount needed to get past a filibuster. But they really don't. And so what they're trying to do is package all of these things together. They're going to use a procedure called reconciliation that allows them to pass things with 50 votes. This is a very high stakes for the president. Yeah. I think basically all of his agenda is packed into this one bill. And if they can't get there, I don't think there's much chance for him to have any real legislative accomplishments.
It's interesting, though, that the polls indicate the people support those initiatives. It's the Republicans in Congress who don't, but many of their constituents do. How do we square that?
Well, yeah, absolutely. On each and every one of these things, I think they probably sound really good. And I think what you need to do is take a step back and look at what Joe Biden is doing. He is offering up a proposal to fundamentally reshape the scale and the role of the federal government. I think that is being lost in a lot of this. This is one of the most far-reaching programs ever put forward. Trillions of dollars, not just high spending, but reaching into areas of the economy that the federal government never has before. And I think that's the type of thing that we need to stop and say, okay, is that what we are trying to do? Huge redistribution of wealth. Like I said, free childcare, free community college, climate, energy policy, all of this all at once. And this is coming really fast. And so what I think we need to do is have a debate about whether or not this is actually the type of federal government that we want. Unfortunately, for Republicans, they've been too focused on culture wars and, Dr. Seuss and Mr. Potato Head instead of talking about these things. And that's why I think the president's really gotten a bit of a free pass and has a really good chance of actually getting this done.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.